Good morning, children. Look at that beautiful picture. Yes, a short monsoon diary. Let's do it. The first day of monsoon, mist. And it's strange how all the birds fall silent as the mist comes climbing up the hill. Mist is not exactly fog, but something like this which covers up everything. You are not able to see anything. Okay, perhaps that's what makes the mist so melancholy. Melancholy means very, very sad. Not only does it conceal means hide. That means what does the mist do? It hides the hills. It is as if you're not able to see the hills at all. It blankets them. Blankets them means it covers them. In silence too, everything seems to be so silent. Only an hour ago, the trees were ringing with bird song because birds keep jumping, chirping, singing. Okay, so that is the reason it was ringing. And now the forest is deathly still. No movement in the forest. Birds are not singing, leaves are not moving, not shaking, and one feels as if it is midnight. Because midnight, what happens? Everything seems to be very, very silent. No sound is heard at all. The same is the condition, the same is the scenario here. Through the mist, Biju is calling to his sister. I can hear him running about on the hillside, but I cannot see him. So, this is the description that the author gives about June 24th in his diary. Now, we will move on to June 25th. So now this is about June 25th. First it was about June 24th. Now it is about June 25th. Some genuine early monsoon rain, warm and humid. Sometimes we feel if it rains, it will become very pleasant. Sometimes it does become pleasant, but if it doesn't rain as much as it is supposed to, it becomes sort of very humid. You feel hot, you feel uncomfortable, and not that cold, high altitude stuff we have been having all year. The plant seemed to know it too, and the first cobra lily is the name of a flower, raised its head from the ferns. So peeps out from among the ferns as I walk up to the bank and post office. So this is what the author sees when he's walking towards the bank and the post office. The mist affords a certain privacy. A schoolboy asked me to describe the hill station and valley in one sentence, and all I could say was a paradise that might have been. Okay, so now June 27th. The rains have heralded the arrival of some seasonal visitors. Because of the rains, what can you see? Who has come? Seasonal visitors. The different types of animals, birds are seen. A leopard and several thousand leeches. Leech is, it sucks human blood. Yesterday afternoon, the leopard lifted a dog from near the servants' quarter below the school. No, it must have lifted that so that it can kill and it can eat. So why do leopards do that naughty thing? So that it can kill the animal and it can eat it. It must be hungry. In the evening, it attacked one of Biju's cows, but fled at the approach of Biju's mother. Biju's mother started shouting, so it was scared and it ran away from there. Fled means it ran away from there. Who came screaming imprecations, all curses. She started cursing that leopard. As for the leeches, I shall soon get used to a little bloodletting every day because it sucks human blood. See, children, look at the beautiful scene there. What can you see there in the picture? Beautiful, lovely, very, very colorful birds. Can you see that? Yes, that is a picture you get to see at the time of monsoon, at the time of rains. Other new arrivals are the scarlet minivets. Now, who are the others who have come? Different types of beautiful colored birds. Just now I showed you in the picture there. I showed you the picture of the lovely birds. So, scarlet minivet is a bird. Okay, The females are yellow, flitting silently among the leaves like brilliant jewels, just shining, no matter how leafy the trees. The trees are full of leaves, but doesn't matter. These brightly colored birds cannot conceal themselves. Their color is so dark, so bright that they cannot hide themselves because of their bright color. Yes, children. So, although by remaining absolutely silent, they sometimes contrive to go unnoticed. Now, sometimes it may so happen we may not even notice them because they do not make any sound as such. Along came a pair of drongos. Drongos also is the name of a particular type of bird, unnecessarily aggressive, chasing the minivets away. So, what were the drongos doing? They were trying to chase away the birds. A tree creeper moves rapidly up the trunk of the oak tree. Oak tree is a type of tree, snapping up all insects, eating all insects that come all the way. Now that the rains are here, there is no dearth of food. Dearth of food means shortage of food. Dearth means shortage for the insectivorous birds. Insectivorous birds, birds who feed on insects, are called insectivorous birds. Children, I have an interesting video for you. Please watch and enjoy.
Short Monsoon Diary, June the 24th. The first day of monsoon mist. And it's strange how all the birds fall silent as the mist comes climbing up the hill. Perhaps that's what makes the mist so melancholy. Not only does it conceal the hills, it blankets them in silence too. Only an hour ago, the trees were ringing with birdsong, and now the forest is deathly still, as though it were midnight. Through the mist, Biju is calling to his sister. I can hear him running about on the hillside, but I cannot see him. June the 25th. Some genuine early monsoon rain, warm and humid, and not that cold high altitude stuff we've been having all year. The plants seem to know it too, and the first cobra lily rears its head from the ferns as I walk up to the bank and post office. The mist affords a certain privacy. A schoolboy asked me to describe the hill station and valley in one sentence, and all I could say was, a paradise that might have been. June the 27th. The rains have heralded the arrival of some seasonal visitors, a leopard and several thousand leeches. Yesterday afternoon, the leopard lifted a dog from near the servants' quarter below the school. In the evening, it attacked one of Biju's cows, but fled at the approach of Biju's mother, who came screaming imprecations. As for the leeches, I shall soon get used to a little bloodletting every day. Other new arrivals are the scarlet minivets. The females are yellow, flitting silently among the leaves like brilliant jewels. No matter how leafy the trees, these brightly colored birds cannot conceal themselves, although by remaining absolutely silent, they sometimes contrive to go unnoticed. Along come a pair of drongos, unnecessarily aggressive, chasing the minivets away. A tree creeper moves rapidly up the trunk of the oak tree, snapping up insects all the way. Now that the rains are here, there is no dearth of food for the insectivorous bird.
This is about August 2. The writer writes about 2nd August, all that happened, all that he saw. Okay, all night The rain has been drumming on the corrugated tin roof. Drumming means that sound which the rain makes when it falls on the corrugated roof. That noise that it makes, falling noisily. You can see the meaning there given at the right hand side of the lesson on that particular page of your textbook. Okay. So there has been no storm, no thunder, just the steady swish of a tropical downpour. Downpour is the rain. Okay. It helps me to lie awake. At the same time, it doesn't keep me from sleeping. That means he seems to be enjoying the sound of the rain. Yes, he seems to be enjoying. Who? The writer. It is a good sound to read by the rain outside, the quiet within. And although tin roofs are given to springing unaccountable leaks, there is a feeling of being untouched by and yet in touch with the rain. So that is what his feelings are. He says there's a feeling of being untouched by. He's inside his house, the rain cannot touch him, and yet in touch with the rain. See, he seems to be imagining, enjoying. That is why in touch with. He's able to see, he's able to feel that noise, that sound of the rain falling on the corrugated roof. That is the reason he says, yet in touch with the rain. So now, let's move on to August 3rd. Let's see what all things happen. Now, this is about 3rd August, August 3rd. The rain stops, so now it has stopped raining. The clouds begin to break up and the sun strikes the hill on my left. So to his left, he can see the sun. A woman is chopping up sticks. I hear the tinkle of cowbells. Tinkle, what are cowbells? You see, some of these cows, what does the owner do? It ties a sort of a bell round its neck. So when it moves, that you can hear that tinkling sound. So that is what it means, the tinkle of cow bells. You must have also seen so many cows with bells around their neck. So when they happen to move a little faster, what happens? You can hear the tinkling sound of the bells. In the oak tree, a crow shakes the raindrops from the feathers and caws. The sound made by the crow is called caw. So it shakes its feathers to keep away from the wetness. So disconsolately, unhappily it is doing that. Yes. Now water drips from a leaking drain pipe and suddenly clean and pure. The song of the whistling thrush. Thrush is the name of a bird. Children, did you notice something? So many birds, names of different types of birds the writer mentions in this short monsoon diary. Names of lovely, beautiful birds and animals. So thrush is a bird. It is supposed to be singing sweetly, like dark, sweet secret from the depths of the ravine. What is a ravine? It is a valley. Now about August 12th. Endless rain, that means continuously it is raining. That is why it is called endless rain, and a permanent mist. Because of that, a mist is formed. We haven't seen the sun for 8 or 9 days. That means it has been raining continuously. Everything damp and soggy. See, even if it is not actually wet, you know what happens in the rainy season, even if your clothes become dry, you touch it, you feel as if it is a little wet, it is a little damp. That is what is called soggy. Nowhere to go. Obviously in the rain one cannot go out. Pace the room. Pace means keep walking up and down the room. Look out for the window at a few bobbing umbrellas. Yes, if people have to go out, they obviously have to use their umbrellas. At least it isn't cold. It is not always so that if it rains it has to become cold. But yes, sometimes it does become cold. No, right now it is raining in Bijapur and it is a bit cold here now. The hillsides are lush. That means it looks so beautiful because it looks all green. Flowers and fruits blossoming and blooming. As late monsoon flowers begin to appear, wild balsam. Children, these are names of flowers, okay? Dahlias, begonias and ground orchids. Ground orchid you can see in the picture there. That is ground orchid, white color flower. Yes, so these are all names of flowers. Remember that. Now we move on to August 31st. It is the last day of August and the lush monsoon growth has reached its peak. The seeds of the cobra lily, again cobra lily is what? Name of a flower. The cobra lily are turning red, signifying that the rains are coming to an end. That means when the cobra lily starts blooming, that is an indication of what? That the rains are soon going to come to an end. In a few days the ferns will start turning yellow, but right now they are still firm, green and upright. Ground orchids, mauve lady's slipper, these are all names of flowers, and the white butterfly orchids, again these are all white butterfly orchids, you can see there in the picture, put on a fashion display on the grassy slopes of Landrecy. It is as if some fashion show is going on and all the flowers are blooming and blossoming and trying to display their beauty. Wild dahlias, red, yellow and magenta. Again, dahlias are flowers. These are different colors of the dahlias. Red, their heads from the rocky crevices, narrow openings or cracks in the rock. They seem to be peeping from those cracks where they have taken hold. Snakes and rodents flooded out of their holes. Their holes are full of what you call water because of heavy rains, so they have to come out. They cannot live there. Okay, so what I was telling you that snakes and rodents, their holes are flooded, full of water, even the burrows also. Which animal lives in a burrow? Yes, children, rabbits, hares, they live in burrows. So their burrows are also full of water. A shrew means what? What is that? It is, okay, I give you the work. That chuchundar it is called, I think so in Hindi. Yes, I am right. So chuchundar. You find out what it is called in Kannada. Right now I am not able to remember. Okay. Okay, children, do you know what is a shrew? In your Kannada language, it is hegna, okay? In Hindi, it is chuchundar. So that is shrew in English. So I've told you the Hindi word, the Hindi term, what you call in Kannada, okay? So I hope now I'm clear to you. So don't kill it, admonishes their grandmother. The grandmother is telling, don't kill this, they're supposed to be lucky. They bring money. And sure enough, I receive a check in the mail. See, and immediately after that, after the grandmother tells him, he receives a check in the mail. Not a very large amount, but money is always welcome by one and all. So here, the writer is happy. October 3rd. We have gone straight from monsoon into winter rain. Snow at higher altitudes. Because it is winter, obviously there will be snowfall at the higher altitudes. After an evening hailstorm, you feel as if the pieces of small ice is falling. That is actually hail, okay? The sky and hills are suffused with a beautiful golden light. So you can see a beautiful golden light in the sky. See how beautifully the author gives a description of every minute thing. The flowers, the rodents, the snakes and even the sky. Okay, so now we move on to January 26th. Now this is all about winter rains in the hills. This is what the author describes here about the winter rains in the hills. Look at the picture there. In the hushed silence of the house, when I am quite alone and my friend who was here has gone, it is very lonely, very quiet as I sit in a liquid silence, a silence within. That means there's absolute silence, no sound, no noise is heard. As earlier the writer said, isn't it, the drumming sound and all that, surrounded by the rhythm of rain. It is only the sound of the rain, and as if it is following a rhythmic pattern while falling. The steady drift of what? The fast flow of the water is the steady drift of water on leaves, on lemons, on roof, drumming on drenched dahlias and window panes. So here basically what is the writer trying to tell? How the rain is falling and where the rain is falling. While the mist holds the house in a dark caress, in a very soothing manner, As I pause near a window, the rain stops. So when he stops near a window, what does happen? What happens? The rain stops and starts again. So it stops and then again it starts raining, and the trees no longer green, but the trees have turned grey. This is what happens during the winter season. Menace me with their loneliness. Menace me, it is as if it is trying to make him feel very bad, trying to scare him, because there's so much of loneliness all around. Late March, end of winter, the blackest cloud I've ever seen squatted over Missouri. Missouri is the name of a place. Squatted means as if it is sitting there. And then it hailed marbles for half an hour. Nothing like a hailstorm to clear the sky. Once again the hailstorm has started. So even as I write, I see a rainbow forming. Generally, when do we see a rainbow? When the sun and the rain appear at the same time. Then you get to see, and after the rain stops, what do you see in the sky? Rainbow. Yes, that is a time when you see the rainbow. So now children, I have an interesting video about this chapter. Please watch and enjoy.
August the 2nd. All night, the rain has been drumming on the corrugated tin roof. There has been no storm, no thunder, just the steady swish of a tropical downpour. It helps me to lie awake. At the same time, it doesn't keep me from sleeping. It is a good sound to read by. The rain outside, the quiet within. And although tin roofs are given to springing unaccountable leaks, there is a feeling of being untouched by, and yet in touch with the rain. August the 3rd. The rain stops. The clouds begin to break up. The sun strikes the hill on my left. A woman is chopping up sticks. I hear the tinkle of cowbells. In the oak tree, a crow shakes the raindrops from the feathers and caws disconsolately. Water drips from a leaking drain pipe, and suddenly, clean and pure, the song of the whistling thrush emerges like a dark, sweet secret from the depths of the ravine. August the 12th. Endless rain and a permanent mist. We haven't seen the sun for 8 or 9 days. Everything damp and soggy. Nowhere to go. Pace the room, look out of the window at a few bobbing umbrellas. At least, it isn't cold rain. The hillsides are lush as late monsoon flowers begin to appear. Wild balsam, dahlias, begonias, and ground orchids. August the 31st. It is the last day of August, and the lush monsoon growth has reached its peak. The seeds of the cobra lily are turning red, signifying that the rains are coming to an end. In a few days, the ferns will start turning yellow. But right now, they're still firm, green, and upright. Ground orchids, mauve lady slipper, and the white butterfly orchids put on a fashion display on the grassy slopes of Landor. Wild dahlias, red, yellow, and magenta, rear their heads from the rocky crevices where they have taken hold. Snakes and rodents, flooded out of their holes and burrows, take shelter in roofs, attics, and godowns. A shrew, weak of eyesight, blunders about the rooms, much to the amusement